In an ancient land in turmoil, 8 warriors are drawn together by strange circumstances. Reluctant heroes in a world ruled by greed and ambition, born to share a common destiny, and forever linked by 8 mysterious beads, symbols of their identity and purpose. Each one carries with them the key to their own fate, guided on a journey by an unseen mystical force, on a quest to break a curse that threatens to destroy them. They walk the path of myth and legend. In a forgotten age of tradition and ceremony, always one step ahead of the dark powers that pursue them, in search of a legacy they have been chosen to inherit. Discovering along the way, they are the Dog Warriors. In Kyoto, around the time of the Muromachi shogunate, there was an area at the southern tip of the Boso Peninsula known as Awa, where lived 2 families, the Satomi and the Anzai. The house of Satomi was in a state of near starvation and called upon the house of Anzai for help. Instead of helping, Lord Kagetsura Anzai sent 2,000 troops to attack the Satomi. The Anzai were aided by some strange, devilish power, and in the end, after many fruitless attempts at counterattack, there was nothing the Satomi could do but barricade themselves in at Takita Castle. Lord Yoshizane Satomi gathered the family and ordered his son Yoshinari and Princess Fusei's fiancé, Daisuke Kanamari, to pursue a surprise attack on the Anzai troops.
If we fail, we are doomed. The surprise attack must succeed. But I promise you, I will have Kagesura's head.
Little does Yoshinari realize that he and Daisuke are to find Kagetsura a far more deadly adversary.
Lord Kagetsura, we have come to kill you!
Come on, then!
After realizing what Kagetsura truly was, Daisuke challenged the monster alone, enabling Yoshinari to escape. But in the face of such devilish power, all Daisuke's efforts were useless.
I am very sorry, Father, to have fled so shamelessly.
It doesn't matter now.
The last desperate attack had ended in dismal failure. Now the only alternatives available to the Satomi clan were to surrender to the Anzai or to end it all themselves.
Oh, Yatsufusa. Yatsufusa, if you bring me Kagetsura's head, I'll feed you as much as you can eat. Okay, then. I'll give you your own territory. No good, eh? Well, how about I give you Princess Fusei's hand in marriage?
Although Yoshizane's request was only a jest, Yatsufusa, the family dog, kept his promise. He killed Kagetsura Anzai and brought his head to Yoshizane. And now it's Yoshizane's turn to keep his promise.
Yatsufusa, as was promised to you, I've become your wife, even though it was only to be a marriage of the heart.
Despite her parents, Princess Fusei's decision to marry Yatsufusa didn't change. She left the castle. Around her neck she wore a chain of beads that her mother gave her as a lucky charm. And away into the sacred Tomi Mountains they went, a marriage of human and beast, embarking on a strange new life together. The days and months went by until nearly a year had passed. And then one day in a dream, Princess Fusei learned that there was a curse upon her and the Satomi clan.
You have conceived Yatsufusa's offspring. You will give birth to a litter of 8.
Kanamari Daisuke Takanori barely managed to escape death, and had now made his way into the Tomi Mountains. Having failed in his task, he had no desire to return to his position in the Satomi clan. But after getting wind of the Princess Fusei's marriage to Yatsufusa, he had immediately set off after them. As Daisuke was grieving over Princess Fusei's death, the 8 beads her mother gave her started glowing, and the Chinese characters engraved in the beads started changing. Each of the characters represented a virtue which all samurai should possess.
Don't follow me into death, Daisuke. There is something that you must do for me. My body is possessed by an evil spirit that wants revenge on the Satomi clan. You must somehow break the curse. Daisuke, a journey to change destiny awaits you. So let us travel together.
After her death, the 8 beads flew to the 4 winds. Daisuke became a monk called Chudai, and he started his journey to break the curse. One year after Princess Fusei died, a boy whose name was Shino Inuzuka was born in Otsuka village. When he became of age, Shino's father, Bansaku, told him of a mission that was passed down from his own father, which was to present the Murasame sword to Lord Ashikaga, a noble shogun in Koga. It is said that the owner of the sword was deemed to be the ruler of the Kanto. The Murasame, the famous sword that every samurai would die for, had been handed to the Inuzuka family by the Ashikaga shogun to protect during the war. Shino's greedy uncle, Hikaroku, was one of the many who desperately wanted the sword. Aided by a mysterious devilish man, Samojiro Aboshi, both tried to trick Bansaku to get it. However, Bansaku would not relinquish the Murasame and dishonor his family.
But because it is our master Eboshi, he has been gracious enough to let the matter pass. However, look at that injury. Think how he must be suffering. How can one who has been subjected to such misfortune be so generous in his compassion? So why don't you try and show the same kind of sincerity then?
Talk all you want, but I will never give you the Murasame.
Father!
Shino, take care of Murasame.
Hikiroku and his wife promised to allow Shino to present the Murasame to Narayuji Ashikaga by himself. They also made a proclamation of his engagement to Hamaji in front of the rest of the village.
Oh, Yushiro.
Shino decided to release his dog from his pain, but as he cut the dog's neck, a bead popped out. In the bead was a Chinese character, ko, meaning filial devotion. Shino had discovered the bead that would lead him to his destiny. June 18, 1477, Shino left Otsuka village for Koga. Little did Shino know the sword had been switched by Aboshi for a cheap imitation.
Hey, wait for me! I'm coming! Hey, move, Mr. Yasuhei!
Sosuke Unukawa, also known as Gakuzo, had been sent to kill Shino by his master Hikiroku. He had been promised that if he succeeded, he would be allowed to leave the house and travel to re-establish the Inukawa name. The Senju River, running through Toshima, was also known as the Raging River. In the midst of its violent currents, two dog warriors wrapped up in a strange fate faced each other in a meeting of destiny. Sosuke, who carried with him a bead that read Gi, meaning duty, was born of a samurai family. However, after his father's death, he and his mother were expelled from their house. His mother died shortly after, and young Sosuke was picked up by Hikiroku and made his manservant. The bead was clutched in his hand on the day he was born.
Huh? Yeah!
Shino and Sosuke found that not only had they an identical bead, but also an identical birthmark.
We have exactly the same birthmark. This can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe we had some connection in a previous life. Huh?
In Otsuka village, Hamaji was ordered to marry a deputy official instead of Shino. With no way to escape, she tried to kill herself. But the evil Abashi saved her and abducted her to the mountains. In her struggle, she learned that Abashi had switched the Murasame. But there was nothing she could do, for her own life was in great danger.
Murasame!
Hamaji!
Who's there?
I am that girl's brother.
Brother?
I am the son of Dosaku Inuyama. Dosetsu Taratomo.
More than 10 years earlier, the attendant to the house of Nerima, Dosaku Inuyama, had two mistresses. One gave birth to Dosetsu, while the other bore Hamaji. Hamaji's mother, having given birth to a daughter, was so overcome with jealousy that she eventually gave poison to Dosetsu and his mother.
Mommy!
Dosetsu survived the poison, and after eventually coming of age, decided to strike out in search of his half-sister, Hamaji, who had been forced to leave the house. Acting on rumors, he was finally able to find her, though their meeting was to be ill-fated.
Revenge.
Hamaji, before she died, asked Dosetsu to bring the Murasame to Shino, but there was nothing but revenge on his mind.
You there! What are you doing with that sword? Hey, what are you doing holding the Murasame? Huh?
Sosuke found Dosetsu holding the sword that Shino was supposed to possess. He also found that Hamaji was dead, and he thought Dosetsu had killed her.
Bastard!
What the? Hey, what are you crying about?
You killed her, you bastard!
In struggling, two beads flew out from the warrior's clothes and landed in the opposite owner's clothes. Dosetsu was also a dog warrior, but he took off without knowing that Sosuke was one of his destined brothers. Arriving in Koga, Shino waited for days before his petition to see Lord Ashikaga was finally allowed. But unfortunately for Shino, he had no idea that the sword he was going to present as the Murasame was in fact an imitation.
That's it.
You come here before us carrying this useless piece of garbage? You've got a lot of nerve!
Ashikage's retainer discovered that the Murasame was a fake, and Shino had to fight for his life to escape punishment.
What did I do to deserve this? What in the world am I even doing here?
Shino was chased everywhere in the castle, and finally he was cornered at the top of the building. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, a warrior began attacking him.
I am Genpachi Inukai, a former prison guard of Koga Castle. I am placing you under arrest. Come quietly or else.
Here I come!
Genpachi Inukai also had a bead in which the word Shin appeared, meaning faith. They were about to kill each other without knowing they were brothers, but Princess Fuse intervened. Shino Inuzuka and Genpachi Inukai did not drown in the Tone River. Luckily, they managed to pile on top of each other into a small boat moored by the shore, which drifted off somewhere downstream. They were saved by Genpachi's old friend, Kobungo Inuta. He ran a small inn which he inherited from his late father. Kobungo used to drink and fight all the time, but ever since his father was killed while trying to stop him from fighting, he sealed his sword and vowed never to fight again. While Genpachi was fine, Shino was suffering from a high fever. As Shino spit out his bead, it was then that they all recognized they were related to each other. Not only Genpachi, but Kobungo as well had an identical bead in which the word te, or brotherly affection, appeared. At dawn, the inn was surrounded by the vigilantes from Koga that had been sent to capture the fugitives, Shino and Genpachi. Kobungo's brother-in-law, Fusahachi, turned them in to the authorities. He wanted to be promoted to a samurai, and he hoped this action would help him gain his title. A battle ensued, and Fusahachi accidentally killed Kobungo's sister, Nui. An angry Kobungo cut his head off, thus breaking his vow of non-violence. The head of Fusahachi was confirmed to be that of Shino Inuzuka by the vigilante troops from Koga. As the two young men closely resembled each other anyway, there was never much doubt. Atsumitsu Niori gathered his troops and headed back to Koga, thoroughly convinced he had gotten his man. Meanwhile, in Otsuka village, Sosuke Inukawa had been captured for the murder of his master and his wife, who actually had been killed by a monster.
Why don't you just confess to your crime? You helped Shino and Imaji elope. Then you killed Hikiroku and his wife and stole their savings. Confess to your crime.
Please, listen. I didn't do any of those things. See you later.
Not knowing what was going on in Otsuka village, the three dog warriors were on the way there to see Sosuke. Kobungo agreed to meet Shino and Genpachi later, while he found someone to care for his orphaned nephew, Daihachi.
Daihachi, look over there. They'll take care of you for a while. I'll be back for you, though. I don't know when that'll be, but I have to find the source of those strange beads.
They say caring for a lost child brings blessings from the gods, and there was even a custom where people left their children by the road for a chance at a better life. After the deaths of his parents, Fusahachi and Nui, Daihachi was in the hands of the gods themselves.
Kobungo, I was waiting for you. Please, bring me the child.
Daihachi also had a bead engraved with the character Jin, meaning sympathy. After he was adopted by Princess Fuse, he grew up to be a young boy in a short time by the power of the princess's spirit. and Kabungo wouldn't see him again until they would meet unexpectedly in battle. After arriving at Otsuka village, Shino and Genpachi learned that Sosuke had been imprisoned for murder and that Hamaji had gone missing. The night before Sosuke's execution, the two decided to sneak into the execution site and wait under a pile of dead bodies until morning. The sun rose, and Sosuke's execution was about to start.
You are Gakuzo, manservant to Hikiroku Otsuka, are you not?
My name is Sasuke Yoshito Inakawa!
Begin the execution.
Shino and Genpachi successfully stopped Sosuke's execution, but all three were cornered and faced certain death. But luckily, Kabungo showed up just in time to save them.
Let's go.
The four dog warriors were able to escape an untimely death. However, they would soon find out that they could not escape from their own cursed destiny.
Aboshi.
So, the four of you are all together now. Only 4 more, or rather 2 more to go. I shall see to it that you regret your peony birthmarks and spirit beads. It will be splendid when all 8 of you are together. I'm looking forward to it.
Shino Inuzaka, Sosuke Inukawa, Genpachi Inukai, and Kobungo Inuta were just now at the peak of the summer, set to begin their enigmatic journey together.
You say the city tires your eyes, it's anger and despair. You don't hear all the laughter that is there. I know you're caught in a fearful dream. The streets are not as dark as they seem. Please understand that time will pass and you will reach another place. I long to see a smile light up your face. And no, I know you will shine again. So wipe your tears away, beautiful friend. Blue skies will soon erase the stormy night. Blue skies above a world that's new and bright. Hope dies, but then the clouds begin to part. Blue skies will bring it back into your heart. say you need to find the truth. You try with every passing breath. You're puzzled by the pain of life and death. Though you have traveled far, I think you know you've got 1,000,000 miles farther to go. There's a force within you at times. You can feel it lift you high. You trust the wind, you close your eyes and fly. Beyond the hills of clouds, the hidden stars. And that's when you can tell just who you are. Visions appear, strangely unclear in your mind. Fear can't erase love that you chase, running blind. Voices begin echoing into your past. You journey on, morning is dawning at last. Moments pass and soon the darkness fades. You're alone on your way. As you walk on, let your sadness fade away. Give your spirit to the day. Blue skies will soon erase the stormy night. Blue skies above a world that's new and bright. Above a world that's new and